chân. Vâng, xin vâng, xin được gửi lời chào buổi sáng tới quý thầy cô ạ. Quý thầy cô ơi, bây giờ vì một chút phần kỹ thuật, vui lòng ban tổ chức xin được kính mời quý thầy cô chúng ta có thể dành khoảng 5 phút để chúng ta chuyển sang phòng Zoom thứ hai, mà ngay bây giờ thì bộ phận kỹ thuật sẽ gửi link Zoom vào trong chat box cho các thầy cô ạ, để chúng ta join vào phòng 2 để đảm bảo về mặt kỹ thuật. Ban tổ chức vô cùng xin lỗi quý thầy cô bởi vì trong sáng nay có Vâng, xin được gửi lời chào buổi sáng ấm áp tới quý thầy cô ạ. Các thầy cô có nghe thấy âm thanh và ánh sáng từ phía đầu cầu Hà Nội không ạ? Dạ vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô ạ. Ban tổ chức rất là xin lỗi và mong quý thầy cô thông cảm vì một chút trục trặc về phần kỹ thuật buổi đầu giờ sáng ngày hôm nay. Dạ vâng, vì chúng em phải chuyển phòng Zoom của các thầy cô sang vào một phòng ạ, để chúng ta có thể tương tác tốt hơn. Cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều. Vâng, và hiện tại thì trong khán phòng Zoom của chúng ta số lượng các thầy cô đăng nhập đã đông lên rất là nhiều rồi ạ. Cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều. Vâng. Vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô ạ. Hi, good morning, Chuyên. Morning, Giáo. So can you turn on the camera? Morning,
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning, everybody. Hi.
Everybody, okay. So, xin nhiệt liệt chào mừng tất cả quý thầy cô giáo đã đến dự hội thảo chuyên đề bồi dưỡng phương pháp giảng dạy tiếng Anh theo bộ sách giáo khoa tiếng Anh Global Success. Cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều. Vì một chút trục trặc kỹ thuật ngày hôm nay thôi, nhưng bây giờ thì mọi thứ đã rất là nice rồi ạ. Cảm ơn các thầy cô và chúc các thầy cô một buổi sáng tốt lành, hoan hỉ và thật nhiều niềm vui. Kính thưa các thầy cô, đồng hành cùng với quý thầy cô giáo giảng dạy tiếng Anh trên toàn quốc, ngày hôm nay Nhà Xuất bản Giáo dục Việt Nam phối hợp với Nhà Xuất bản Macmillan Education phối hợp tổ chức mở đầu cho hội thảo chuyên đề của các thầy cô trong năm học này bằng một buổi sáng sẽ vô cùng hấp dẫn và thú vị với thầy Đeo. Hy vọng các thầy cô sẽ cảm thấy rằng 2 tiếng trong buổi sáng ngày hôm nay sẽ là một buổi sáng vô cùng hấp dẫn và quý giá, hữu ích đối với mình. Lúc này thì chắc là các thầy cô đã làm xong tất cả những công tác kiểm tra, đánh giá và đóng sổ sách của năm học cũ rồi ạ, phải không ạ? Vâng. Lẽ ra thì giờ này chúng mình sẽ phải được enjoy một mùa hè rồi, nhưng mà chúng ta vẫn dành thời gian quý báu của mình ngồi đây để được trao đổi chuyên môn, phải không ạ? Vâng, thưa các thầy cô, ngày hôm nay thì chúng tôi xin được chào mừng tất cả các quý thầy cô là lãnh đạo các sở, phòng giáo dục đào tạo, các thầy cô cán bộ quản lý, chuyên viên phụ trách và toàn thể quý thầy cô giáo đang giảng dạy tiếng Anh khu vực miền Trung và miền Nam. Cảm ơn các thầy cô đã dành thời gian của mình trong buổi sáng ngày hôm nay để cùng với Nhà Xuất bản Giáo dục Việt Nam và Macmillan chúng ta có một cái hội thảo chia sẻ chuyên môn với bộ sách giáo khoa tiếng Anh Global Success. Và hy vọng rằng những thông tin và những kinh nghiệm cũng như những cái tips mà thầy Đeo chia sẻ sáng nay không chỉ để dành cho riêng bộ sách Global Success mà sẽ trang bị cho các thầy cô những kho kinh nghiệm để chúng ta có thể giảng dạy các bộ sách giáo khoa khác nhau cũng không có vấn đề gì, phải không ạ? Bởi vì sứ mệnh của chúng tôi là mang được cho các thầy cô những điều tốt đẹp nhất, phải không ạ? Thưa các thầy cô, trước khi đến với phần diễn giải chính của thầy Đeo, ngày hôm qua thì ở ngoài Hà Nội đã có một hội thảo mà thầy Đeo đã triển khai ngày hôm qua và giáo viên cảm thấy vô cùng hoan hỉ, đúng không ạ? Và vì đã mang được về cho mình rất nhiều những điều tốt đẹp và những điều thú vị, và hy vọng ngày hôm nay thì thầy sẽ tiếp tục chia sẻ tất cả những điều tốt đẹp đó với quý thầy cô ạ. Vâng, thưa các thầy cô, trước khi đến với phần chính ngày hôm nay thì ban tổ chức cũng xin chia sẻ lại những thông tin chính của chương trình hội thảo ngày hôm nay. Ngày hôm nay sẽ giúp các cô có những cái hiểu biết sâu sắc hơn về các kỹ năng nghe nói sẽ được triển khai trong bộ sách tiếng Anh Global Success như thế nào. Chúng ta cũng có cơ hội để tìm hiểu các kỹ năng tiếp thu, như kỹ năng nghe sẽ được sử dụng là hình mẫu cho các kỹ năng sản sinh, ví dụ như kỹ năng nói như thế nào, và từ đó các thầy cô sẽ có được những trải nghiệm về các kỹ thuật giảng dạy, tích hợp các kỹ năng này trong lớp học của mình. Thầy Đeo cũng sẽ cung cấp các cái hoạt động thực hành thực tế, thầy sẽ có những cái demo teaching, đúng không ạ, để các thầy cô có thể theo dõi và có thể apply ngay vào trong lớp học của mình. Và xin được trân trọng giới thiệu với các thầy cô thầy trainer speaker của chúng ta hôm nay, Mr. Derek Spafford. Thầy là giám đốc chuyên môn khu vực châu Á của Nhà Xuất bản Macmillan Education. Thầy đã có 25 năm kinh nghiệm trong lĩnh vực giảng dạy tiếng Anh EOT và có 11 năm làm việc cho Hội đồng Anh tại Thái Lan, nơi thầy đã lên kế hoạch và phát triển chuyên môn của giáo viên trong rất nhiều bối cảnh khác nhau, bao gồm cả trường tư và trường công. Thầy là một nhà giáo dục rất là nhiệt huyết và sẽ phát triển mạnh trong việc tích hợp các phương pháp cũng như ý tưởng dựa trên nghiên cứu các khóa học và hỗ trợ giáo viên thực hiện các chiến lược học tập hiệu quả trong giờ học. Vâng, với những kinh nghiệm như vậy thì chắc chắn những gì mà thầy chia sẻ trong buổi sáng hôm nay sẽ giúp cho các thầy cô rất là nhiều với trang bị thêm cho mình những cái kỹ thuật và kỹ năng, đúng không ạ? Vâng, thưa các thầy cô, trước khi bắt đầu phần diễn giả chính ngày hôm nay thì ban tổ chức xin được nhắc lại hội thảo chuyên đề của chúng ta đang được triển khai trên nền tảng Zoom webinar. Hiện tại trong khán phòng của chúng ta đã có gần 1.000 quý thầy cô đã truy cập và được phát livestream trực tiếp trên kênh YouTube sách mềm. Vì vậy các thầy cô nào mà không vào được khán phòng Zoom này thì hoàn toàn có thể xem trực tiếp livestream trên YouTube sách mềm. Và tất cả buổi recording ngày hôm nay chúng tôi cũng sẽ được gửi lại cho các thầy cô và xem lại được trên kênh YouTube cũng như là fanpage sách mềm của chúng tôi. Cuối buổi ngày hôm nay thì chúng tôi sẽ có phần Q&A cũng như là phần điền thông tin để nhà xuất bản Macmillan có thể gửi các thầy cô chứng chỉ đã tham gia hội thảo ngày hôm nay. Vì vậy các thầy cô hãy cùng ngồi với chúng tôi đến cuối buổi ngày hôm nay để chúng ta nhận được những cái phần thưởng xứng đáng cho 2 tiếng đồng hồ rất là quý báu này, phải không ạ? Và sau đây thì không để các thầy cô chờ lâu nữa, xin mời các thầy cô đến với phần chia sẻ của thầy Derek Spafford ngay sau đây. So please big welcome Mr. Derek Spafford.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are we all today? Thank you very much, Suan, for the introduction. Thank you to VPH for organizing everything and yourself for your support. And a very big thank you to Miss Quinn and Covis as well, who's provided support from Macmillan as well. It's really great to be here with you. It's always nice to spend time with Vietnamese teachers, and I'm very happy to be delivering our session today. So without any further ado, let me share my screen so you can see, and just check that you can see my screen. Can you see that okay? Can you just let me know?
So it's great.
Thank you. Okay, lovely. All right. Okay, so today's session is, as you know, is all about listening and speaking and integrating those skills. And as I go through the session today, please feel free to ask questions, but we will also, as you know, we'll have a Q&A session at the end where I'll stay around and answer any questions that you have. I'll be also looking at the chat, but we have quite a few participants today, and sometimes the chat goes quite quickly. And I have the chat on a different screen. So if you see me looking up like this, I'm not looking at anybody in my house. I'm just looking at the chat, which is on a different screen. All right, so I can keep an eye on what you're saying. And as we go through the session today, I'll be asking you some questions. So please feel free to post your answers into the chat. Don't worry about getting the questions right or wrong. Just give me your ideas. And if you've got any suggestions to some of the suggestions that I will give you, then please add them. Please share your thoughts, share your ideas into the chat. And you can do this in English or you can do this in Vietnamese. It's up to you how you want to share with the other participants. I want you to be able to give each other your own ideas as well. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to start today with a little warm-up activity, just to give you a bit more information about myself. All right, so I'm your trainer for today, and my name is Del. I've been working for Macmillan for over 5 years now, and some of you may have met me before as I've traveled through Vietnam, delivering Mac days with Miss Quinn. So if I have met you before, then hello again. And if I haven't, then it's nice to meet you. So we're going to start with a beep dictation. Now, a beep dictation is a listening activity. All right, today's about listening. The first part will be about listening. The second part about speaking. And we're going to do a listening activity. I'm going to say a sentence and I'm going to say the word beep during the sentence. When I say the word beep, you have to think of the word to replace that word. So, for example, you can see that my name is Del. So if I said to you, my name is Beep, you would write what? What would you write? My name is Beep. Good, good, good. All right. So you would write the name Del, exactly. All right. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to say the first sentence to you, and I want you to try and guess and find out a little bit more about me. Try and maybe listen to my voice, maybe look at me in the picture and on the screen, and see if you, hello, Mr. Beef. Yes, that's very good. And maybe you can get some idea about who I am. So my name is Del, and I come from Beep. All right, so what's the beep? My name is Del, and I come from Beep. Any ideas? Britain, England, England. Any others? I've got America there. Australia in there as well. America, Boston. Oh, it's very specific. Boston. All right, good. All right, so you've got that. I'm going to tell you the answers. Yeah, I was made in a Macmillan publishing house. That would be good if they could do that, I think. Belgium. Oh, that's interesting. And Canada as well. All right, well, I'll tell you the answers in a moment, but we'll keep going. The next sentence. And with this one, please be kind, okay? Please be kind. I'm Beep years old, and my birthday is in April. All right, I'm Beep years old, and my birthday is in April. Remember to be kind. 51, 50, 40, that's kind, 40. 60, I told you to be kind. 60, oh no, I'm gonna have to do something with my, oh, I haven't got any hair. I can't do anything with my hair. All right, so good, some nice guesses there, some that are very kind and some that are not. Thank you very much. I'm gonna keep a record of whoever said 20. And when I come to Vietnam, I'll try and find you and give you a special prize. Next sentence, I'm married and I have one beep. I'm married and I have one beep. One child, one boy, one son, one child, one son. One daughter in there. Lots of boys for some reason. Oh, and daughter, daughter. Okay, lovely. And then the last sentence, I've lived in Thailand for beep years. I've lived in Thailand for beep years. Lots of different answers coming through there, lots of different guesses. All right, okay, good stuff. All right, so I'm going to tell you the answers now. And this activity is just a bit of fun to get to know each other. What I would normally do now is ask my students maybe to, depending on their level, maybe to write sentences and make their own beep sentences and then tell each other. This is something that you can do at the start of a course. You can do it obviously yourself as a teacher with any kind of vocabulary or any kind of grammar as well. It's kind of a fun activity. So here are the answers. So my name is Del and I come from England. England is the answer. So if you said England, you're correct, or Britain would also be correct. That's the answer. I'm beep years old. I'm 50 years old. So I think it got, when I was looking, it was around 50. People, the first one I saw was 51, which was nearly correct. Yeah, I celebrated my half century last month. I'm married and I have one daughter. Some people got that correct. And I've lived in Thailand for 23 years. Yeah, I've been in Thailand for a long time now. I've been in Asia for a long time. Yeah, I love it here. I'm based in Thailand. This is my home, but I get over to Vietnam previously before COVID, many opportunities to come over. I used to come over 4 or 5 times a year. So hopefully, starting from July this year, I will be back over there again doing training face-to-face as well. So with an activity like this, I said you can use for many different vocabulary items, but what's nice about it is you can give students the clues from the sentences. So the first sentence, I come from beep, you're going to be thinking I come from a country or a continent. It's going to be a place. You can direct the students to lots of vocabulary for a place. I'm beep years old, obviously that's going to be a number. I'm married and I have one beep, that's going to be a child, a son, a daughter, or maybe even a pet. It can be something to do with the family unit. And I've lived in Thailand for beep years. Years indicates a number again, and you can really direct how you get students to answer these beep questions. And there's lots of opportunities to adapt this activity. But a nice little listening activity to start. All right, let's get on with today's session. So here is our agenda for today's session. So we're going to look at the start. We're going to look at a framework for listening. So it's going to be kind of in two parts. The first part, the framework for listening, we're going to look at using images. We're going to look at using flashcards as well, which are kind of the same but different. And I'll show you why they're the same. Flashcards are more specific for certain images. And the images that I'm thinking of are very broad and can get lots of ideas. We're going to also look at a framework for speaking, and the framework is very similar. You can use this framework, and I'm going to show you how I adapted it, but they are very similar. But once you get used to using the framework, I think your lessons will become easier to follow. In the speaking, we're going to look specifically at giving instructions, and how to group some students. And I'm using color coding here. So green will be our listening, blue is our speaking, but today is about integration as well of the skills. So speaking and listening, when they're joined together, you will see the skills are integrated. Now, I'll say here, and I'll say it again, with listening, I think you can practice this skill on its own, by itself. But with speaking, it has to have some form of listening involved in order, I believe, to speak. Except if we think about what I'm doing now, I'm speaking to you, but I'm not getting any listening. I'm not listening to what you're saying because the format is different. But in fact, I am listening to what you're saying because I'm looking in the chat. I'm getting input from the chat. So it's a kind of a form of listening, if you like. I'm responding to what you're saying. So with speaking, there's always some kind of other skill that goes with it. And we can see that as we go through. Today, we'll be looking at 3 of these titles of Tiếng Anh 1, 2, and 3 of the Global Success Series. And for the first part, I'll be looking mainly at levels 1 and 2. And then the second part, I'll move over to level 3. All right. So, but it doesn't matter what level that you're teaching. All of the activities I will show you today will be important for any level that you teach, and really for any age group that you teach. So you can adapt these ideas for any class. That's my feeling. But I'm going to specifically target some of the materials just to give you some examples. The listening part, as I said, we'll look at levels 1 and 2. All right, so and specifically actually level 2 for the example. Now levels 1 and 2 follow a very similar format. In the unit, there are 8 lessons in the unit. And as you can see, they follow the same format. Lots of opportunities to listen. Here you can see the listening highlighted, and lots of opportunities to speak as well. Lots and lots and lots, which is great. We want our students to communicate. And I've chosen specifically the first part of the lesson because this is one that normally teachers will always do. They will always teach the first lesson. Some of the other parts of the lesson, depending on time, they might miss out. But generally, the teachers will always do this first part of the lesson, the lead into the unit, if you like. And these skills are integrated with the listening and the repeat. So this listening and the speaking is the repeat part. So here is my framework to start us off. So I'm going to go through this framework with you, and I'll take you through the framework, and then we will break it down into small pieces, and we'll look at every part of this framework and how we can use activities and different ideas and games that you can use to take you through this framework. So the first thing we have in a framework is our lead-in. So if we're teaching a listening lesson, we have a lead-in element, okay? And I'll show you some activities that we can do for the lead-in. After the lead-in, what do you think comes next in our framework? What would we do? If we're teaching a listening lesson, we have a lead-in, and then what might we do? Has anybody got any ideas? Feel free to share your ideas. What comes next after the lead-in? Okay, suggest the topic, that's great. Using pictures, context and vocab. And we might play a game, set the scene. I like all this, this is nice. So what we might have next, actually, I'm thinking more of the pre-task work. So the things that you said, using pictures to set the scene, the characters, discover the pictures. This might be the pre-task work that we're doing. Some guessing, yes, what's another word for guessing that we always like to use? Prediction, right? So we always like to predict when we practice our skills. After the pre-task comes the setting of a clear task. So the students know exactly what they are going to do in that listening lesson. They know the objectives now, they know what they are supposed to achieve. All right. And then we will play the audio. So that's what comes next. And yes, people are good. This is really nice. So we've got our pre-listening with those three points there, the lead-in, the pre-task, and the clear task. And then the while listening, playing the audio. And then what comes next? After the while listening, so we're playing the audio, we've done the while listening. Post listening, of course, yeah. And the post listening might be something to do with the feedback. So checking, very nice. Yeah, checking that you've achieved your aims, feedback on the task, and then could they do the task? So this would be checking that they've achieved their aims, or you've achieved your aims. But more importantly, that the students can do the task. So can they do the task? Hopefully the answer is yes. And if they can do the task, then you can conclude the lesson and maybe do something extra. Okay, and then we're going to look at some extra activities that you can do. However, a lot of the time, you might ask the question, could they do the task? And you might have the no. All right, you might have students who can't do the task. What do you do now? What do you do if the students cannot do the task? Replay. You help them, of course. Yes, you play again. But it's very important that what Angyang THC Bin Long has said is to help. All right, guide, support. Yes, you cannot just play the audio again. All right, imagine if you played the audio, if you're learning a different language and someone plays the audio to you, ask you a question, and you don't know the answer. All right, it might be because you didn't hear it. Maybe you weren't concentrating. So playing it again, okay, it might solve the problem, but it's more likely you don't know the answer because you don't know what you're supposed to do, or you don't know the vocabulary, or you don't know the language. It could be a number of reasons, and you as a teacher need to find out why they can't do the task, give them some help, additional support, and then play it again. So this area here of additional support is very important. We can't just skip to play again, because you might just repeating the same error that they're making over and over again, and they will become very frustrated. So you need to provide support, play it again. Could they do the task? Yes, and then conclude again. So let's look at some ideas for each of these stages. So our first stage is our lead-in stage. All right, so our lead-in. Now, question, why do we need a lead-in activity? Why do we need a leading activity? I'll give you a moment to answer that question. Let me have a look. To warm up, yes. Clear not, yeah, warm up, guess the topic, focus, feel relaxed. These are all great. To pay attention, yeah, to get them into the lesson. For sure, yeah, all good examples. And I hope you do leading activities to warm up, get your students ready. For me, I think a leading task is a really good way to get students interested in the topic, to find out what they already know about the topic, and to introduce the language that they need for the topic, and the material that you're going to be teaching, to set the scene, to motivate, all these things to get them ready for the task. So there are lots of leading activities that we can do. Using pictures is a great tool, and we will look at this in a moment about how we can use pictures. But things that I like to do as well is stimulate other senses. Remember, this is about listening, so why not use sounds? Sounds are a great way to bring emotions, to bring other elements of learning into the classroom. So, and they can be very powerful at bringing images into the mind. So, I have a question for you. I would like you to listen now and tell me, what is the topic of this lesson? All right. And just let me share my sound. Okay. And I'm going to play the sound to you now. So what is the topic of this lesson? Are you ready? Lovely job. Okay, excellent. So I saw lots of great ideas. I can't read them all, but lots of people were talking about the beach, the sea, the weather at the seaside. Somebody said disaster, which again, that's amazing. Somebody's thinking about maybe like a perfect storm kind of situation, maybe where there's like an accident. So lots of imagination, lots of things coming out. And at this stage, there's no right or wrong answer. We've got animals, we've got waves, we've got lots of vocabulary coming out from just this one short sound. And on the internet, you can find loads of these sounds. So if you're teaching jobs, you can have people doing different jobs, hitting a hammer, or directing traffic, or anything that you can think of to get children using their imagination. It's a really powerful tool. So yeah, you were right. And here's my image. We're going to look at Unit 3, which is at the seaside, of course. So now we're going to use the images. We're going to think about using the tool of the images. 1 second while I just move my thing down. And we're going to look at this great picture that you can see from Unit 3 of the Tian An, apologies for my pronunciation, by the way, Tian An Level 2 book. And each unit starts with these lovely, beautiful visual openers that get students really engaged with the picture. So what we might do with this is we might now get students to label the picture. So they've come up with lots of vocabulary, the words that they came out from the listening activity, the sounds. They may have said the beach, and we can see the beach is here. They may have said waves, and we can see waves on the ocean. They may have said ocean. They may have said sea. They may have said holiday, and all these different words that come out. And we can label our picture now and start to build more vocabulary around the picture. Another way to get children to engage with an image is to use what we call visible thinking routines. So here we might ask our students very simple questions to set the scene, yeah, as you're saying. So these 3 words, see, think, wonder, very simple way to guide your learners. And you can use this at level 1. They will need more guidance. And you can use this for adult learners who will need less guidance. So within that, whatever level, if it's level 1, 2, or 3 that you're teaching, you will need to provide more or less guidance with these questions. So the first question, what can you see? Look at the picture. What can you see? No right or wrong answers. What can you see in the picture? You can have some suggested questions, yeah, to guide them after this. You can see sailing. Yeah, you can ask questions. What's the boy doing? What's the boy wearing? This kind of questions to help guide them through this. Excellent. All right, great. So, and you might ask for 1-word answers that you're giving me now. Level 1, you would get 1-word answers, right? Level 3, you might start to get more sentences. I can see a boy. I can see a girl. So you start to build their language around this. The next thing you might be asking, what do you think? So what do you think? So you can see them, but what do you think? They're funny, yeah, they're having fun, they're on holiday, you think they're happy, they're excited. So now you're starting to think about emotions, things that you don't know, but things that you think. You're really kind of like going deeper now into the image. So I think they're having a nice time. I think they're brother and sister. I think they're on holiday. So any of these ideas might be good. And as a teacher, you're guiding. So instead of what do you think, you might say, are they a family? And asking these questions. Happy? Sad? And asking these kind of guided questions. And then what do you wonder? What do you wonder? Something that I always wonder about, or I'm wondering about, the boy has caught the fish, right? What do you wonder? I wonder if they're having a nice trip. Yeah, that's a good one. Ah, good. Are they a family? Will they return? Ah, that's a really nice one, isn't it? Will they return? Or they will return. So are they leaving the island for good? Or are they going to come back? So that's similar. Yeah, I wonder if they will eat the fish. And I wonder if they are staying on the island. So that's very similar to will they come back? So these very simple questions can get lots of more information rather than just asking them to talk about the picture. You can guide them. Another way to do this is to use what we call salute. Now, salute is an acronym, all right? But what is a salute? Can somebody tell me what is a salute? What does it mean, salute? A way of greeting, yes. And it's a way of greeting, usually in the military, right? Soldiers, these are soldiers from Malaysia, actually, and they are greeting people, all right? They're saluting. But the reason that they use this, or the reason that they do this is to greet, but they also use this word, salute, to help them understand a situation. All right. So when soldiers, when police, maybe even when firefighters, when they go into a situation that they're not sure about, they use this word salute to help them. And we can use this word salute to help them understand the picture. And I'll show you. It's got a meaning. The S stands for size. All right. So when we look at a situation, we think salute, S, size. How many people are there? How many people are there in the picture? All right. We can look at the A. What is the A? What does A mean in salute? So S is size, A. What would A be? Think about if you're going into a situation, you look at the size and then you look at what? What are the people doing? You look at the The action, good. Or similar to action, same kind of word, the activity, yeah. Now you can change this to action if you want to. It's up to you. It's your salute as well. Now, L, what would L mean? So we've got the size, we know how many people, we know what they're doing, and we know the L. Think about the L. What would the L be? The location, excellent work, yes. With a place, where are they? All right. The next is U. You might want to think about the U, the uniform, lovely work. What are they wearing? What do they look like? And all these kind of information. The T is important. Think about the T, might be something to do with this. The time. Very good. And then the last one is E, the E. So E is kind of everything around them as well. What else might be there? The emotions, very good. But think about emotions. If you are there in person, you can tell the emotions, right? You can tell if people are happy, you can tell if people are sad. But if you're looking at a picture, that's difficult, all right? It's difficult to find out their emotions unless you're looking at the picture directly. So E is all about the other things that are with them. The boat, the rubber rings, the fishing rod, the life jackets, the sails, the equipment. Very nice. Okay, so we've got this acronym, salute, and we can give this to the children and we can ask them questions. So if we think about our picture, so how many people are in the picture? How many people? There are 3, yes. And you can be very simple. Level 1, 3 people. Level 2, level 3, 2 children and 1 man. So you're making this more information. You're developing this. You're not just sticking with the number. All right. The activity. What are they doing? What are they doing? They're fishing. Sailing and fishing, yes, all right. And again, level 1, sailing and fishing. Level 3, they are sailing and fishing, adding the language around it. They're going on a boat cruise. Lovely job. And there you can add to it, can't you? You can build on this language. They're sailing on and fishing on the ocean. Where are they? Well, here we go in the location. In the sea, on a boat in the sea. And again, you can build on this. What color is the boat? So they're sailing on a white boat in the beautiful blue sea. And you can add more language depending on the level of your learners. What are they wearing? What's their uniform? T-shirt and shorts. Perfect job. Same as Teacher Dell. And again, shorts and T-shirt. And again, you can add colors to this. You can add adjectives. A beautiful short. A beautiful pair of shorts and a beautiful T-shirt, or a very fashionable T-shirt. What a life jacket. Very nice. What time of day is it? Morning. Summer. Good. Lovely. So you've got the time of day and you've got the season. All right. This is nice. It could be morning. How do you know it's the morning? Because of the sun in the sky, but the sun could be coming down as well. So we don't know. We're not sure. It could be AM or PM. It could be winter or summer, depending on the country, right? Depending on the country you're in, because I know in Thailand, where I live, it's sunny all year round. And equipment. So what else can you see in the picture? Fishing rod, boat, bucket, lovely. Yeah, sails, life jacket, fishing rod, island, sand, sea, sun, tree. And from this, you're building up a much deeper understanding of what is in that picture. So I encourage you to use these acronyms, to use the visual thinking, see, think, wonder. What can you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? And also this salute idea to really build up a big, deeper knowledge of the picture. So that's our lead-in. And the leading task is going to be very similar when we get to the speaking of ideas that you can use. So you can play the sounds, label the picture, and see, think, and wonder. And then do the salute. And then we move to the pre-task. So the pre-task is really guiding our students now into the objectives of the lesson. So what we might do now is try and find the S words. So what S? Good, good, good. You can see the sun, the sea, the sun. A fish has got an S word in it as well. Good, yeah. Sail. What can you see on the sand? There you go, and you can see the sand on the beach. So what we're doing now is we're directing the students to the task. All right, they've come up with loads of nice words, and now we're directing them, we're scaffolding them, we're supporting them with the task that they're doing. So, and we're also trying to get the students to recognize that this sound S or S is linked to some of the words in the image. All right, so the knowledge of the sounds and the images is important. We're pre-teaching now that's and the S sound. Okay, now when we pre-teach these sounds, or when we teach these sounds, we need to be mindful and understand how we make the sound. All right, so we know students can hear the sound that's and the S. Okay, S is the sound of the letter. It links to the decoding of what the letter says, but is actually how we hear the sound in the words. All right, so we might be wanting to teach our learners how to do this sound, how to make this sound. So it's important that you as teachers, you know how to make the sound, and you can tell your students to close your mouth, put your tongue behind your teeth, and blow, and they can make the sound. Okay, you may need to find out whether they're using their voices or their which part of their mouth they need to use, and teach them how to do this. And I think with this, if you can do this in your first language or the student's first language, it's a little bit easier for them. You might want to make a distinction between S and Z, so that they can see there's a difference between the S and the Z sound if you've already taught the Z sound. And then similar with the Sh and S, you might want to teach the difference between those as well. But you have to be careful with this. You have to make sure that you're not overloading them with different sounds. And this careful progression of sounds you will see in the book itself. So make sure you look at what the students have already been taught before you start teaching them the differences between sounds that may come later. All right, so be careful of that. So today we're addressing the S sound. And what we might do now is ask them to think about, to do some prediction. All right, so what sounds do you think you will hear in the listening activity that we're going to do? So what sounds do you think you might hear? The sounds. What sounds? So they'll be good. We've got sail, sea, and sand. Sun, sail, okay. And then we can point them out now. So there you go. We've got three words that we're going to hear. Sail, sail, sea, and sand. And now we might want to just go a little bit further to check understanding and find some more S words in the room. So if you're in the classroom, what S words can you see? So I'm not in the classroom. I'm not sure if you're in the classroom, but what S words can you see where you are sat now? So I can see scissors. All right, you might not be able to see that. Scissors. I can see a sock. Okay, good. The students. Great. I can see a shirt. I'm wearing a shirt. My seats. Good. If you can see the sand on the seaside, I'm very jealous. You must be at the beach. What else can you see? Your shorts. Yes, actually, I'm wearing a pair of shorts as well. The screen. Good. Your skirt. Nice. So just consolidating and that understanding of the S sound or the S sound is a nice way to do that. We now move on to setting the clear task. All right. So the task that they have to do is a simple task. We might think it's a simple task. All they have to do is listen, and repeat. But we have to be careful here. We have to make sure our students understand the word repeat. We often, as teachers, overlook these instructions. Now, they may understand the word stand because they can see the sand, the sail, they can see the sail, and the sea, they can see the word sea. But these instructions, it might be a bit more challenging for them. Repeat is not a high frequency word for students, apart from maybe in the course book, but they still need to understand what this word is. So make sure you're really clear about what students have to do in the task. And to do that, you have to model the activity. You have to model the task. So you will model it yourself, okay? You will do the activity yourself, show students what they have to do. And you can use gestures to model, listen, see, repeat, see, okay? And you're very clear and you model this. You model it by yourself, listen, repeat, listen, see, repeat, see, and you're very clear about your instructions. And again, with instructions, don't be afraid to use your first language or the first language of the learners. So in your case, Vietnamese, don't be afraid to use it, to give them those instructions, to check your instructions. So you model it with all the students at the front of the class. You will then say to all the students, okay, I'm going to say see, and you will get them to then repeat see, and you can check, model, look around, big classroom, make sure you find out your weakest student that they're doing the activity with you. Then get a student to the front of the class, see, and the student in the front of the class will repeat back to you, and then get another student to come up, and one student will then say the word see, and the other student will repeat. Do this in the first time you do this, it will become very clear, and students will have very clear understanding of what they have to do. So when you come to do the activity, you don't have to stop it and repeat your instructions. Okay, it's very important that you model and you give them clear instructions. And now we move on to playing the audio, actually doing the while listening task. Now, be careful when you play the audio, because if the audio is too fast, you may need to pause it after each word. So let's have a listen to the audio here, the example, and we'll see if you think it would be too fast or okay for your learners.
Unit 3. At the seaside. Page 4.
Excuse me.
At the seaside. Page 14. Lesson 1. Activity 1. Listen and repeat.
S. Sail. Sand. Sea.
So for your students, do you think that would be too slow, too fast, or about right for your students? Think about level 2 students. Okay, good. Yeah, not too fast, but students not familiar with the accent. Exactly. Yeah. So this is for level 2. You think it's quite slow. Now, I think looking at, in my experience, I think that this might just be, for the first time, just a little bit fast. So I might want to stop it and repeat. Okay, so I might want to pause it, and I might ask my students to tell me if they want to stop it as well. I think that the goal is at the end of the listen and repeat is to have them be able to do it with that speed. Okay, but the first time they listen, it might be a challenge for them. So I wouldn't be afraid to stop it. Whoops, hang on, and let them have some time to be able to repeat. After that, you can actually start to then have some fun and drill the language. You can play a little game with them, and just to break it up, so that we mentioned accent. So they may not be familiar with this accent, so you can drill it yourself, use your own accent. All right, and I'll give you some ideas about how we can do that using something very simple called I say, you say. So here's my classroom, and there's the teacher. So the teacher is going to say, see, and the students will repeat, very simple, the word see. This is drilling, okay? Choral drilling. So what you might want to do here is, after you've said the word see, is just get these 4 students to say it. The whole class, and then these 4 students, these 4 students, these 4 students, these 4 students, this line, this line, this line, this line, this line, depending on how you want to do it. And then maybe individual, you will say it, okay? And you can drill as much as you want. Now, when you're drilling, have fun with the drilling, okay? See, students, see, sand, sand, okay? This is boring. Students are not going to be excited, particularly young learners, particularly level 1, 2, and 3. They're not going to be excited by doing this. They will do it because you're the teacher and you've told them to do it. But why not bring a special friend to the classroom? Now, I'm just going to stop my background a moment to introduce you to my special friend for today. Do you know who this is? Hello, everybody. How are you today? This is my friend. Does anybody know what his name is? He's very famous. He's a puppet. He's a puppet. He's got a special name, though. You might have seen him in a famous movie called Toy Story. His name is Woody. All right, here's Woody. Now, Woody's going to help me with my drilling, okay? So Woody's going to stop being the teacher. Woody's going to take over the teacher role, and he's going to do the drilling. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. See. And the students would repeat, see, okay? But as I said, that's a bit boring, isn't it? So let's have some fun. And the students will repeat, see. Okay, so they will be lengthening the sound, making the sound longer and having a bit of fun with it. Woody might shout the word see, see. And the students would repeat in a shout. They would shout the word see. Woody might whisper, see. And they would whisper back. Woody might sing the word, see, and the students would sing the word back to Woody. All right, so have fun when you're drilling. Don't just drill see, see. Use Woody, use a puppet, use me. I want to help you, teacher. I want to help. Let me help. And Woody will help you drill the vocabulary. Students will respond much better if you use puppets, if you use some kind of teaching aid, and also it kind of directs the lesson. They're going to know exactly what they're going to do. If you bring Woody to the lesson, you've got Woody by the side of you. Okay, kids, what we're going to do now is, and you bring out Woody, they already know what they have to do. So you don't have to give instructions. They know Woody's going to say the words and they are going to repeat. It's very simple. So your classroom management becomes easier because you've got Woody to help you as well. So have fun with the drilling. You can also drill. So you drill as a class, then you drill in groups, then you drill individually. You drill all the words, but you can also drill like this. Show them the picture. So you say the word, anybody from any country, if I say the word see, and they look at me and they go, see, I think that they know what the word see is, right? But I don't know. I have no idea if they know that the sea is this water by the beach, on the coast. I don't know if they understand the word, but I know they can say it, but I don't know if they understand it. So then we use the images, the flashcards. Here we've got a flashcard of the word sand. You show it, the students turn around to each other. One says sand, one says sand. All right, so they're drilling to each other now. You're practicing with each other, and you can then monitor. Feedback, come to feedback now, and we're going to feedback on the task. Here we're going to think about praise, all right? We must praise equally. Now, I know my colleague John has mentioned this before about lollipop sticks. And again, a way to do this is to build up your lollipop sticks of your classrooms and to, let me just get that out of the way, to make sure that you have your students' names, either lollipop sticks or even just note down your students' names. And when you've said, you've pulled up their name, Gun, you've said, Gun, good job. You did a great job there. I heard you very clearly and your pronunciation was great. Proud, great job. And I'm moving them to the left-hand side of my desk. I'm moving them to the left-hand side. So I know that the students on the left-hand side have been praised, and these group of students on my right-hand side, they have not been praised yet. So I have a record of who's been praised, so I equally praise my learners. I'm going to praise them for different things. I'm going to praise them for their effort, and I'm going to praise them for accuracy. Effort is very important to praise. If you're only praising if they get things correct, you're not taking into account those students who are really trying. And with young learners, it's very important that we develop a growth mindset. We develop that feeling of trying, the feeling of developing our learning skills by doing things, by making mistakes. It's fine to make mistakes as long as we correct our mistakes, and we'll come to correction later on. But it is important to praise accuracy as well, so that the students do strive to be correct. 1 second while I change my background back. There we go. Could they do the task? Well, here we can check the task, so we can drill again. We can bring out Woody. Hi, everybody, and we can drill it again, making sure everybody's correct and they're all saying the words correctly. Again, make sure you have fun while you're drilling. Bring out Woody. We can check understanding. So this time we need to maybe use some flashcards to check understanding. As I mentioned before, anybody can repeat the words, but do they understand what the words mean? So this is where we check understanding. And we can do that by playing a game, a very simple game called Board Slap. I have, I'm just looking at the chat, some ginseng, that's nice. So Board Slap, I played this game many, many times. And the reason I've played this game many, many times is because it works. So you have the flashcards, the lovely flashcards that come with the book. Lots of beautiful images. You can put these images up. Now you will see I've got sail, I've got sand, and I've got sea. All right. These are my key words from my lesson. But this is lesson 3. The lesson before, lesson 2, we were looking at the K sound, bike, kitten, kite. So I'm recycling the language now, playing this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a word, sand, and the first child who stood at the side of the board will put their hand, will slap the board, and they will slap the word sand. The first student to do that wins a point for their team. They sit down and a new student comes up for their team. Split the class into 2 teams and they can play against each other and have a competition. And you can play this until the students get bored. If you think, oh my goodness, I have a big class, I have a lot of students, this is going to be quite chaotic, it's going to be quite noisy, that's fine. It's fine to have some noisy time in your class, but you can also make this a little bit quieter by simply having a paper cup and put the paper cup on the student's head. This will stop them from being too energetic. They will have to move slowly, because if the paper cup falls off, they lose a point. All right, so they still have to slap the board, but they're going to be doing it a bit more slowly to keep the cup on their head, and the class will be quieter as a result. You can also do this by having the flashcards that are available to you, but this time with the words. So they're recognizing the spelling, the sound, and also the image as well. So here we have the word sail, and they have to hit the word sail. So mix it up between the pictures and the words, and the words and the pictures. Make it a bit more different, a bit more challenging when you have to look at the words. So could they do the task? The board slap we've looked at. We can integrate some skills here with some speaking now. All right, so we've done some drilling, but now we want to check that understanding that they can say the word clearly by playing a game. Now this game is called telephone. Some people will have heard it as whispers. Okay, so this is a whispers game. Now this is post listening, yes, but it's still checking the task. I'm checking the understanding. I'm monitoring carefully all of my learners, the ones which can say it, the ones which can't say it. And I'm focusing on whether I need to then do some more work to help them say the words correctly. And this is a good word of checking. So I will say the word, or show them the word in this case. So this is the word sail. These two students here will now turn around. They look at the picture. They're quiet. Shh. This is a whispers game. They're on the telephone. They're not shouting. Shh. Whispers. They turn around and then they pass the word along. And then the student at the end will write the word. Okay. Now, this is a simple way of checking that the students are saying the word accurately and correctly. Because if the student at the end now writes the word see, I can check, I know that there's some problem in this line of students that has caused them to say the wrong, or caused them to write the wrong word. So I can now go back, drill again, check again, and then play the game again to make sure that they've got this correctly. Now you might be thinking level 1, it's still a problem with motor skills and writing the words. And if that's the case, then you can do it like this. You can play the same game, but with this one, they can just choose. So you will play it exactly the same. And in this case, all the students have to do is circle the word that they hear. Okay. Now, yes, there is that case of students losing attention. But that's up to you kind of to sort of monitor this. And don't forget, you can't have a quiet classroom all the time. But as this is whispers, hopefully they are being quiet, because any team that isn't quiet, who isn't whispering, will lose a point. All right, so make it competitive. So we conclude that, can they do the task? So the question was, can they do the task? The answer is yes, they can do the task. And we can do some follow activities now. So one of the follow activities for this might be a picture dictation. I love these kind of activities because they're very student-centered. So you can get students, or you can give students a picture, give them all the same picture, all right? The same coloring picture. Everyone gets the same, and they color in the picture. Now, you might be thinking, as again, level 1, oh, coloring a picture, this is going to take them a long time. It could even take them the whole lesson. So you could give this for homework, to color the picture for homework, all right? And they can color the picture any way they like, all right? So every student will have a different color, different pictures. Then they come back to the lesson and they walk around and they tell each other about their picture. They show each other their picture and they can talk about it. They can go, oh, boat, the boat is blue. The sail is yellow. The sun is orange. the seashell is pink, and they can talk about their pictures. All right. So after they've walked around and shown each other, they're very proud. They've got these beautiful pictures. You then put them into pairs. So you put them into pairs. So they work together. And then you give out another blank sheet, the same coloring sheet, the same one that they have. But this one is blank, but it's the same one. Then the students tell each other about their picture, and the students color the picture. So what they end up with, two pictures. One is their picture and one is the same as their friend's picture. They compare their pictures at the end, and hopefully they will have two pictures that are different but the same as each other. And they're practicing their listening skills, they're practicing their speaking skills, and they also have these beautiful pictures. This is a nice way of integrating those listening and speaking skills. If you think that this picture will take too long to color, you can always color the boat yourself or color the sandcastle yourself and then give that out to the learners, or find a picture that's half colored and half not colored, so that you're decreasing the time it takes to color. You can add more vocabulary to the picture. So go back to the leading activity and add more to the picture, and they can write this in their books. So they can write the word fish on the picture. They can write the word tree, sun, all these different words, fishing rod, boy, girl, and add to their pictures. Don't forget to use the workbook. And the workbook is a great tool after you've done an activity that takes, that is quite active. The workbook activity is a way of calming your students down. The workbooks are great as well because they consolidate the learning. You can check understanding using the workbooks. And you can play lots of flashcard games. Now, let me show you some ideas for flashcards. I'll quickly go through these. And again, these ideas can transfer to the speaking activity, which I'll show you in a moment as well, the speaking framework. Now, the first flashcard activity I'm going to show you is very simple. It's called Slowly, Slowly. And I'm going to show you let me just, let me just choose my background again so you can see. Here I am again. Let me just pull that down. So this I'm going to show you is something that I've had for many, many years. And I want to show you this because I want to show you how effective this is, and that you will believe me when I show you that I've had this for maybe 15 years. I made it myself a long time ago. You can see I maybe need to make a new one now because it's getting quite old, but I've used it so many times, and it's a really useful tool. So Slowly, Slowly is very simply you. Slowly, what can you see? What can you see? A fly. It's not a fly. A kite, very good, but it's not a kite. A boat is correct. Yeah, you can see a boat. You can see a ship or a boat. I don't have the flashcards physically with me, so I'm using my own flashcards for this one. What can you see? Like a plane. A helicopter, very nice. Yeah, you can see a helicopter. So this slow reveal is just a really nice, easy way to introduce or practice the vocabulary for your learners. If you're using the flashcards or using flashcards, you can simply just, whoops, that's the wrong way. Sorry, I'm getting confused because of the camera. You can simply use another flashcard to show your image, a mountain, etc. Yeah, so it's a very nice, easy way to introduce your vocabulary to your learners, to build on your learners' understanding. So we've got Slowly, Slowly. Flashcard bingo is also a useful tool. With flashcard bingo, you write the words on the board, and learners simply choose 4 words and they write them on the bingo sheet. And then you, maybe I don't have these words, but similar, you will slowly reveal the words and they have to cross out the words that they can see. All right, very simple. Bingo is always fun for students because generally there's a winner and they love to shout out bingo. You can do a game called What's Missing. Now you can play What's Missing. I'm going to play it using my PowerPoint because we're online, but if you're face to face, What's Missing is very simple game. So if I show you my flashcards, what can you see? We'll drill these. We've got a mountain. We've got a forest. Good. We've got a lake and a river. Very nice, a river. Okay. So I've only got 4 flashcards here. It's just an example, okay? But I'm going to shuffle my flashcards now. All right, and I'm going to take one out. So now I only have 3 flashcards. So which flashcard is missing? What is missing? You've got it. It's the river. The river is missing, okay? And you can play this. You can get students to be the teacher. You can give the flashcards to the student. The student can take one away, be the teacher, and then show it to the learners. And it creates a lot of fun and a lot of excitement. If you're teaching like this, you might say, I might ask you now, what's missing from my flashcards? The bike. Yes. What's missing? Quick, quick. The sea. See, I can see the sea. The sail. Very good. What's missing? The sand. Very good. And so on and so forth. So this is a really nice way of just checking your understanding, playing a different game at the end of the activity, just to consolidate learning. With flashcards, you can also play Magic Eyes. I love this game because this game provides a sense of achievement. So I've got my flashcards here again, and we can see and we can drill kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. And I can just change my, before I get taller. Kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. And now I cover one up and we do it again. Okay, everybody. Kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. Yes. Okay, good. Now I'm covering this one up. Okay. Kitten, sea, bike, kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. Very good. Now again, kitten, sea, bike. No, kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. Very good. Now we do it again. Kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. Good. Kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. Very good. And the last one. Kitten, sea, kite, bike, sail, sand. Way, very good. Everybody can say the words without even seeing the words. What a sense of achievement I've given my students. They all feel great. They can't believe it that they can do it. And then we can go back and just quickly check as well by showing the words. Face to face, all you have to do is have the flashcards, stick them on the board. Okay, you can't see now because I've done mine. But you have the flashcards, you just stick them on the board and then you just turn them over. It's very simple, even easier in the classroom. Or you can just lean them if you can on the board itself. But please try it and give your students a sense of achievement. I did it too fast, of course, because I'm just giving you the example. With your students, you would go a bit slower. And because you have a big group of students, one of them's going to guess, right? One of them's going to get it, and then they'll all be able to help each other. So don't worry that I did it a bit too fast. In your classroom, you'll slow it down a bit and give them that sense of achievement. If they can't do the activity, we go back to, can they do the task? The answer is no, they can't do the task. Maybe some students are not repeating the words, or they're repeating them incorrectly. So you have to identify the problem. Is it a language problem? Do they not understand the words? Are they getting the words see and sand mixed up? Are they not saying it correctly? Is there a problem with the way that, are they saying zan instead of sand? You need to check this. Is it your instructions? Do they not know what the word repeat means? So again, you need to find out, identify the problem and correct it, and then do the task again. So here's our framework for listening. It looks something like this. And I think if you follow this framework, you'll have lots of opportunities to really make sure that you achieve your aims and that your students achieve their aims as well. Frameworks are a really good way of just supporting your teaching. However, we also do have in the teacher's guide the fantastic procedures with all the objectives. So please don't forget to use this. Somebody mentioned earlier about having the energy to do this for 8 periods. We had people saying that, you know, they've got teaching a lot of lessons throughout the day, and that's understandable. You have large classes, lots of students. So go back to your teacher's guide to help you with that. Drink some ginseng tea, which is what I think somebody said, and make sure you have lots of breaks within your lessons so that you're resting yourself as well. Maybe some times to breathe between activities. Do some breathing activities, some brain breaks. I'm going quickly because I'm giving you lots of ideas, but I don't expect you to do this so quickly in your lessons. Otherwise, by the time you get to lunchtime, you're going to need a sleep. All right, so I'm just giving you ideas. Take one, take the other, use it at different times, use them when you see fit. But obviously, you're not going to use them all at the same time. You have to select and use the teacher's guide to help you. So let's now look at our speaking. So the speaking framework, we're going to follow for level 3, a little bit of a higher level. And you will see in the speaking lessons in level 3, or the lessons in level 3, they're very similar, but lesson 4 can be different. Listen and circle, listen and number. And you can also see here, lesson 5, look, complete and read and match. So they're very similar, but a little bit different. Lots of opportunities again for listening, lots of opportunities for speaking. And I'm looking at let's talk, because I like the word talk. I think that really says a lot about production. And when you talk, people listen, so they integrate the skills, as you can see in my rectangle. It's going to be a very similar framework: lead-in, pre-task, setting a clear task and a model. We're going to complete the task rather than listen to the audio. Feedback on the task. It's going to include correction. Could they do the task? Yes, no, additional support. So the framework is very, very similar, all right? And I like the fact that the framework is similar because there's not much for you to remember now. You can, if you follow this framework, you should have a really good lesson. Your lesson will be easy to follow. Your students will understand what they're supposed to do at each stage. And you can combine this with the teacher's guide lessons as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you what I've chosen. So I've chosen unit 13, and it's my house. I've chosen this just because it looked like a nice unit. I didn't choose it for any other reason. And what I've decided to do is really focus on the production. So you will see the let's talk. Where's it's? So the student have to produce the language. All right, they have to produce the language. So let's look at how I'm going to do this and how it fits with our framework. So the lead-in we're going to look again at vocabulary, building the students' vocabulary around the topic of the house, my house. All right, so very similar to the listening lesson. We're trying to stimulate interest, but get students interested, find out what they already know, introduce our language. So what we might do is we might brainstorm. Before we do 4 corners, we might brainstorm. So we could put the students into 4 groups. One is the living room, one is the bedroom, one is the kitchen, one is the bathroom, and they can write down all the things that they can see in these rooms. You could bring objects into the lesson that come from these rooms, and you could pre-teach some of the vocabulary. You can also play a 4 corners activity. 4 corners looks like this. This is your classroom, all right? Now, it might not look exactly like your classroom, and your classroom might be a bit smaller, it might be a bit bigger, it might have more students, it might have less students. I imagine it's got more students, right? But this is just an example. So what you want to do is look at the classroom. Normally classrooms have 4 corners in the classroom, and you put these words or these pictures into the corners of the room. Now, if you can move the chairs in your classroom, this is great. If you can't, you can do this activity in another way, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But what I like about this is that there is some movement. There's a little bit of total physical response, some TPR. So the teacher will now say, where's the frying pan? And here the teacher is providing some vocabulary practice, but also modeling the question of where's the, okay? So this will come in the future when they do the task. So where's the frying pan? Which one is it? A, B, C, or D? In the kitchen, of course. So now my students, they will move to the kitchen, all right? They will all get up, stand up, and walk to the kitchen, which is C. But one student, oh no, he has gone to the living room. So he's not clear whether, we're not clear whether he understands what a frying pan is or what a kitchen is. So he's now going to move across though, because everybody else has moved across, and some of his students, his fellow students, were able to correct him and tell him what it is. Now, if you don't have a classroom that you can move around in, students can simply point to the corner, okay? They can point to the corner, stay in their seats, point to the corner, or they can write on a piece of paper A, B, C, D, and show that A, B, C, D. Simply use those activities so that they're not moving around if they physically cannot move. You can change this if you think of jobs. Who works outside? All right, so with jobs, who works outside would be the farmer. They would all move to the farmer. Exactly. And with food, you can have it with which one is healthy. Okay, so with this one, there are 2 answers, right? The apple's healthy, and also the salmon is healthy as well. The fish is healthy. So you might have a split, and that's fine. You could also ask, which food do you want to eat right now? Okay, so they might choose, if they're children, they might choose that they would like to eat the fries or the cake rather than the salmon or the fish. So you can add an option. No right or wrong answer is nice to do as well. Which one do you want to eat now? They could maybe 4 would go for French fries, 4 for the apple, 4 for the fish, 10 for the cake. So it depends on their ideas, what they want to do. So 4 corners, you can use it for different vocabulary, different items. Now, when you come to the pre-task work, this is very important that we check instructions. All right, so if we have this task where they have to talk about the picture, ask questions about the rooms and where the room is, and then tell the other person where the room is, we need to check instructions. So with this activity, what would you ask the students to check your instructions and to help students with the task. So what questions would you ask? You can model, but that comes in a moment. First of all, you've given instructions, and now you check your instructions. What would you ask them? Good. 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 Yes. Good, good. What will you do is nice. Yeah, okay. Yes, no questions, WH questions. Good. Give me some specifics. Yes, good. What can you see? How many rooms? Good, good, good. Okay, great. What about the question, do you understand? You're given the instructions, do you understand? Is that a good question? Why is it not good to ask, do you understand? If I ask my students, do you understand? What will the answer be? If I ask my students, do you understand? What will the answer be? Yes, the answer will be yes, of course, all right? So we can't ask that question. Be careful if you ask that question. Is it clear? The answer will be yes, all right? No student was going to put their hand up and go, no, I don't understand. They just won't do it. They will go, yes, and then they will do the activity, and maybe they don't understand. They're not going to admit it. So do you understand? Stay away from that question. Questions like, what does the picture show? How many rooms? What are the rooms? These are all questions that you've put in the chat. This one you might not have noticed, but why are the hands big and small? You can see here the hands big and small. These refer to the answer. So if the hands are big, it's close to them. So you would say it's here. If the hands are small, it's away from them. It's there. That's the difference. But you will see that in the instructions in the teacher's guide. Can you ask me a question? So you get an example from your learners. Are you going to work in groups? All right, so this is a pair work activity, right? So you can check that. So you need to think about these questions before you give your instructions to make sure that you know that the students can do the task, and avoid, do you understand? Is it clear? Is there a living room? Is a nice specific question as well. And then you will model the activity. Again, when you model the activity, you will do this with the whole class. You will do it with one student, and then a student and a student will model the activity before you put them into pairs. You will also drill the contractions. There's some language here. Where's the? Where's the? So where's is where is. When you drill contractions, you can use this. So where is, and you put your fingers together, where's. So use your fingers to show the contraction. Where is, where's. All right, use your body to show that. And then you can put the students into pairs. Now, when you pair up students, remember to change the pairs. They might sit next to each other, and it's easy for them to work in the same pair. But if you've got two weak students working together all the time, and two strong students working together for the whole term all the time, it might not be a good thing when you get to the end of the term. They might not have had any interaction with other people, and they might not have been able to get that development. So mix up your pairs, and you can do this many ways, but I'm going to give you a suggestion. It's called line up. Stand up all the students, get them to come to the front or line up against the wall, and ask them to stand in line from the tallest to the shortest, from the oldest to the youngest, from the number of letters in their name, the longest name, to the shortest name, the number that they are in the class, the number that they are in the class. So the highest number, the smallest number. And then the one at this end and the one at this end is one pair, The one at this end and this end is one pair and one pair and one pair. Change it. Make sure you have some diversity in the pairs that you have. This keeps everybody interested and everybody on their toes. I'm going to give you a document later with some ideas as well, how to line people up. Then you complete the task. All right. So what do we do here? While you complete the task, you monitor discreetly. All right. This is so important. When students are speaking, you give them a chance to speak. All right. Don't be correcting them. All right. This is not the time to correct the students when they're doing the activity. Stand back, monitor, and make some notes. Write down. If you hear a mistake, write it down. But don't correct the student just yet. You will have a chance for them to correct themselves. Okay. Let them go. Let them go. Then it comes to the feedback. So the feedback on the task, you're praising equally, don't forget. Praising their efforts, praising their accuracy, but you will need to do some error correction. All right. Now, with this kind of activity, you will find that there are errors that you will already know they are going to make. And this prediction of errors from you as a teacher will help you when you do the activity beforehand to practice, but it will also help you when it comes to this feedback stage as well. So with this activity, what errors do you think students will make? All right, imagine you're teaching this in your class. What errors will they make? What will the students make? So they have to say, where's the living room? It's here or it's there. The sound at the end. Okay, good. All right, good. Pronunciation errors. Very nice. What other errors will they make? Where's the? Yeah, they might make an R sound. So again, pronunciation, intonation. Yeah, this is important, isn't it? Where's the? Rather than where's the? Here and there, they might get mixed up between here and there. I didn't think of that one, actually. That's very good, yes. So you might want to practice that beforehand. Okay, pronunciation again, we're thinking. Good. So here's some ideas. I've got that they might miss the article. So where's the living room? They might say, where's living room instead of where's the living room? No contraction. So they might say where is or just where living room. Where is the living room? In my context, they might get mixed up with the wh and the v. Often I've heard this mistake in Thailand, particularly. They get mixed up with chicken and kitchen. And the T and the th, the T and the th sound. So these are some predicted errors that I would come up with. And I might want to either drill this beforehand or just be aware of this when I'm listening and making notes. All right, so you have to be aware of these. And there are many ways to then correct these errors. And again, I'm going to share a document with you. Remember the contractions, you can use your fingers or turn it this way. Where's, where is, where's, where is, where's. You can use your mouth to show the different sounds. Missing article, where or where's. Living room. I'm doing it the other way around. The camera's the other. Where's living room? What's this one here? What's this? And they would tell me the, oh, hopefully. So using fingers is a nice strategy. And I'll give you this document that you can see here at the end of the session. So could they do the task? The answer is obviously no, they can't do the task because they're going to need some additional support. They're going to need some correction. And you've given them the correction. And now you repeat the activity. So you're letting them correct themselves. Again, you monitor discreetly, you make notes, and you can then repeat the activity again with a different pair, different students in different, working in different sounds, different pairs. You can even make this a competition. Okay, we're going to do this for 5 minutes. And I want you to try to work with as many people as you can. All right. You've got to tell me how many people did you speak to in this activity. And then at the end, you can find out who spoke to the most people. And then hopefully at the end, you can say, can they do the task? Yes, they can. And they can conclude the task now. And now you can really start to expand and personalize on the activities. Personalization is very important with any teaching. You make it about the learners themselves. So in the listening activity, we personalized by letting the learners color the picture themselves in their own way, how they wanted to color it. With this activity, we could get them to draw their own house. So here we have a traditional house. This is interesting for me because is this how you would draw a house? If I ask you to draw a house, would you draw a house like this? I think if you ask most children in Britain to draw a house, they would draw it like this, but not in Thailand. They would draw a different kind of house in Thailand. But this is how I would draw a house. But you get the children to draw their own house, and they can put their own rooms in the house. So this might be the living room, bathroom might be on the bottom floor, the kitchen might be on the top floor. They could change it around, make it their own house. At the top, they might have a games room or a reading room, something like that. What they would then do is complete the activity again. So they would do the same activity in pairs. Where's the kitchen? It's here, it's there. And do the same activity, but this time it's their own house. Integrate the skills. They would then dictate their picture to another student. So they have a blank image and they can do a picture dictation again. And then they can make some vocabulary lists for the room. And this is a pre-activity for the next unit, which deals with the vocabulary within the rooms. So they might have the bedroom. So what would you find in a bedroom? You might find a bed, a lamp, or a closet. What would you find in a bathroom? You might find the bath, of course, or a shower or a sink, living room, and a kitchen. And once they've done this, you can then build a new dialogue. So we've got, where's the bedroom? It's here. Where's the bathroom? It's there. Okay, you're building up that dialogue. You're practicing the target language, but now we can add language to it. So where's the bedroom? It's here. We can then say, what's in the bedroom? So we're adding new language. And he would say, the bed, the lamp, and the closet. And we can start to build up more conversations, more language, and more opportunities for learners to speak. And we can then drill and practice again with more students. We go back, we complete the task again, and we have lots and lots of opportunities to practice our speaking and our listening. So let's have a look at the framework again for speaking. We're coming to the end of the presentation now. So we start with the lead-in, pre-task work, and then set a clear task and a model it. We complete the task. We have feedback on it. Could they do the task? Yes. So we conclude, do some other activities, personalize the activities. They can't do the task, which is probably going to be the first thing because they're going to be pronunciation errors, going to be language errors. So then you provide that additional support, that feedback, that error correction, and then they complete the task. And then finally, you answer the question again, and you finish the lesson. So there's our simple framework for this activity, the speaking lesson. I think it's a really, as I said, a really easy guide for you to follow. But again, don't forget, we have the full lesson plans in the teacher's guide to help you step-by-step approach to teaching. And this will be where you should start, I'm sure, or where you will start to make sure you've got a good foundation of how to teach that lesson. And then you can add the ideas that I've given you to each of these stages of the lesson, the lead-in stages, the feedback stages, etc. So let me share with you now some documents. So I'm going to put these documents into the chat. So the first document I have that I'm going to share you is all about presenting vocabulary using flashcards and other ideas. So have a look. You can open this document. If you click on it, you'll be able to open that. We also have another document here, which will help you recycle the vocabulary. So when you've presented the vocabulary, this will help you practice it with your learners. If you're interested in putting students into groups, I have a nice document here, which will help you put students into groups. And if you are interested in correction, there's a document here to help you with error correction. And in addition to, if you're interested in learning more about correcting errors, we have a really good article on, let me just find it, here we go. A really good article on our website, which is all about error correction here. And I also wrote a blog on error correction, which you can find here as well. So that brings me to the end of my presentation, but we do have time for a question and answer section. So if you would like to give me any questions that you have, I'll be happy to stay around and answer your questions. While we do that, we also have a survey link in the chat. So if you could help me and give me your feedback on today's session, and also let me know what kind of sessions you want in the future, that would also be really helpful to find out as well. So let me have a look in the Q&A and see if there's any questions already there. All right, I think that's probably going to be answered by Miss Suan in the Q&A. But if anybody's got any questions, please let me know. Put them in the chat or in the Q&A, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you to you as well. Thank you all for your participation today. So please do let me know if you've got any questions. As I said, I'll be just hanging around looking out for them. And don't forget to complete the survey. And I hope to see you very soon. If I come to Vietnam soon, hopefully in July. If you see me in July, then please say hi and let me know that you attended the session today. And I'd love to chat to you face to face and make some contact. Yeah, I hope so. So there's a question, Miss Suan, in the Q&A. I think the questions are for you in the Q&A rather than me. I've got one about how to teach grammar effectively, but maybe if you want to answer that question, I don't know.
Okay, many thanks. Many thanks, Dale. Oh my God, this is okay, it's okay now. Ok, các thầy cô ơi, hiện tại trên màn hình đang là bản survey, phần câu hỏi của thầy Đeo để chúng ta xem lại toàn bộ buổi sáng ngày hôm nay chúng ta đã đi qua những nội dung gì. Các thầy cô vui lòng hoàn thành bản survey này để mình có thể kiểm tra lại và để lại các cái thông tin cũng như là những cái feedback của các thầy cô để lần sau trong những hội thảo chuyên đề lần sau thì Nhà xuất bản giáo dục Việt Nam cũng như là Macmillan sẽ có thể tổ chức những cái workshop hiệu quả và đáp ứng được đúng những cái nhu cầu và mong mỏi của các thầy cô nhiều hơn ạ. Vâng, xin mời các thầy cô chúng ta hãy quét mã QR code để có thể điền vào cái bảng thông tin này của thầy Đeo. Vâng, như vậy là trong vòng gần 2 tiếng đồng hồ phải không ạ? Thầy Đeo cũng đã cung cấp cho các thầy cô, hy vọng là các thầy cô cảm thấy rất là happy ạ. Nếu các thầy cô cảm thấy là mình rất là hài lòng và đã có được những cái thông tin hữu ích thì vui lòng là thả tim và những lời cảm ơn cho thầy được không ạ? Cũng là động lực để lần sau thì ban tổ chức có thể tổ chức được nhiều workshop chuyên đề. Và bắt đầu từ mùa hè năm nay thì Nhà xuất bản Giáo dục Việt Nam sẽ tổ chức nhiều hơn những workshop ngắn như thế này để các thầy cô có nhiều cơ hội. Vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều ạ. Vâng. Lots of thanks and hearts and love to you, Giáo. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vâng, và trong các cái mùa hè tới, hội thảo chuyên đề lần thứ 2 sẽ được tổ chức vào tháng 10 năm 2022 với những cái chủ đề mới và cũng sẽ được tổ chức theo hình thức Zoom webinar như này. Các thầy cô hãy chờ đón những hội thảo sắp tới của Nhà xuất bản Giáo dục Việt Nam. Vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều ạ. Vâng, các thầy cô thân mến, và ngay bây giờ thì bộ phận kỹ thuật cũng sẽ gửi link một cái mã QR code để các thầy cô có thể điền thông tin để sau buổi hội thảo này chúng tôi có thể gửi chứng nhận tham gia hội thảo ngày hôm nay về email của các thầy cô ạ. Vâng, chúng ta sẽ có thêm vào profile của mình những cái chứng nhận đã tham gia những hội thảo như thế này, cũng sẽ cũng rất là đẹp đúng không ạ? Một profile rất là đẹp. Vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều ạ. Vâng, các thầy cô vui lòng là đừng đánh email vào trong chat box ạ. Các thầy cô ngay bây giờ thì bộ phận kỹ thuật sẽ gửi một cái mã QR code ở trên màn hình để các thầy cô có thể điền thông tin nhận được chứng chỉ. Sau khi các thầy cô vâng, đây ạ, trên màn hình ạ, phần scan me đây. Và xin mời bộ phận kỹ thuật cũng gửi thêm cả link điền thông tin vào trong chat box để các thầy cô có thể điền thông tin của mình và nhận chứng nhận tham gia buổi hội thảo ngày hôm nay. Link và QR code này sẽ vẫn được mở trong vòng 30 phút nữa để các thầy cô có nhiều thời gian chúng ta hoàn thành các cái phần thông tin của mình để có thể nhận được cái chứng nhận của thầy Đeo, chứng nhận của Nhà xuất bản Macmillan đã tham gia ngày hôm nay ạ. Vâng, các thầy cô ơi, chúng ta đừng đánh email của mình vào chat box nữa ạ. Các thầy cô hãy scan cái mã QR code ở trên màn hình. Vâng, hoặc là chúng tôi sẽ gửi đường link vào chat box để các thầy cô có thể fill in cái thông tin của mình để nhận chứng nhận ạ. Vâng. Trong phần bảng thông tin, trong bản survey mà thầy Đeo có gửi cho các thầy cô có những cái phần feedback cũng như là những cái câu hỏi là các thầy cô mong muốn sẽ được tập huấn những nội dung gì trong những thời gian sắp tới, thì các thầy cô có mong muốn như thế nào thì các thầy cô hãy gửi thông tin rút về cho Nhà xuất bản Giáo dục Việt Nam cũng như Macmillan để chúng tôi có thể tổ chức tốt hơn các cái workshop lần sau, hỗ trợ cho các thầy cô tối đa nhất trong cái việc giảng dạy tiếng Anh nói chung cũng như là giảng dạy theo bộ sách giáo khoa tiếng Anh Global Success. Vâng, trong chat box chúng tôi đã gửi phần survey để các thầy cô làm về link đánh giá cũng như là các cái thông tin để nhận được chứng nhận tham gia buổi hội thảo ngày hôm nay. Vâng, và thưa các thầy cô thì ngoài bên cạnh hỗ trợ về những việc tổ chức những cái hội thảo chuyên đề ngắn như thế này thì Nhà xuất bản Giáo dục Việt Nam cũng đã chuẩn bị những cái hợp phần bổ trợ cũng như những cái hệ tài nguyên sinh thái miễn phí, ví dụ như là bộ giáo án minh họa, bộ bài giảng điện tử, các thẻ từ trong tình huống cũng như là các file audio hoặc phần mềm để có thể gửi tặng miễn phí cho các thầy cô. hỗ trợ tốt nhất cho các thầy cô trong quá trình giảng dạy với sách giáo khoa mới trong năm học mới. Các thầy cô đừng bỏ lỡ tất cả những cái thông tin liên quan với những cái quà tặng này để các thầy cô có thể tiếp cận được tối đa cái nguồn học liệu miễn phí mà Nhà xuất bản Giáo dục Việt Nam tặng cho các thầy cô khi sử dụng bộ sách giáo khoa tiếng Anh Global Success. Và hy vọng những thông tin, những chia sẻ, những cái techniques và những cái tips mà thầy Đeo chia sẻ sáng nay đã giúp ích cho các thầy cô rất là nhiều ạ. Và một lần nữa thì ban tổ chức xin được trân trọng cảm ơn thầy Đeo ạ. Thầy đã dành buổi sáng ngày hôm nay để có chia sẻ với các thầy cô và rất mong được gặp lại thầy trong những workshop tiếp theo ạ. Again, thank you very much for your day, your presentation today, Đeo. Thank you very much. Vâng. Vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô ạ. Và chúng ta vẫn còn khoảng 30 phút nữa để các thầy cô có thể hoàn thành cái link đánh giá này cũng như gửi các thông tin về cho chúng tôi ạ. Để chúng tôi có thể gửi được phần chứng nhận cho các thầy cô. Vâng, và đến thời điểm hiện tại thì trong khán phòng Zoom của chúng ta, ở cả hai phòng Zoom của chúng ta đã có hơn 3.000 điểm cầu và livestream trực tiếp trên kênh YouTube Sách Mềm khoảng gần 500 điểm cầu giáo viên. Và cảm ơn các thầy cô rất nhiều đã dành cái tình cảm cũng như là thời gian quý báu của mình cho buổi hội thảo ngày hôm nay. Vâng. Cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều. Link đánh giá chúng tôi đã gửi vào trong chat box rồi đấy các thầy cô ơi. Vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều ạ. Vâng, hiện tại toàn bộ file audio tiếng Anh 3 Global Success đã được Nhà xuất bản đăng tải trên một cái link ở phần hỗ trợ. Cô giáo Thái Thị Trang phải không ạ? Không biết là có đúng tên cô không? Vâng, xin mời cô có thể liên hệ với bộ phận phụ trách. Không biết là cô ở tỉnh nào đây ạ? Vâng, Nhà xuất bản giáo dục sẽ rà soát lại để gửi lại cho tất cả các phòng giáo dục và các sở giáo dục đào tạo cái link để có thể download toàn bộ hợp phần bổ trợ này, bao gồm có cả file nghe nữa ạ. Vâng, file audio ạ. Mong ban tổ chức có thể tập huấn trực tiếp. Vâng, cái này thì chúng tôi cũng rất là mong mỏi có thể tổ chức được. Thế nhưng mà rõ ràng các thầy cô cũng thể thấy là các diễn giả, các chuyên gia của chúng ta thì hiện tại cũng ở nước ngoài, cho nên là khi mà tình hình dịch có thể ổn định hơn và cái việc giao thương giữa các nước và đi lại sẽ thuận tiện hơn thì chúng tôi sẽ mong mời được các chuyên gia diễn giả trực tiếp đến với các thầy cô ạ. Vâng. Vâng, sau khi các thầy cô đã hoàn thành phần survey của mình, của thầy Đeo cũng như là hoàn thành phần thông tin để có thể nhận chứng chỉ của hội thảo thì các thầy cô có thể kết thúc ở đây ạ. Các thầy cô có thể rời cuộc họp ạ. Vâng, cảm ơn các thầy cô rất là nhiều.
Thank you.